Hi, my name's Shawn Shaler. That guy down there is my friend Chris Ford, aka The Objective Geek of YouTube and Twitter. And you might notice that our background today is very brackety. Or if you're listening, you might not notice that, so I'm just going to explain it to you. There's a bracket in the background. It's very attractive, and it was made by Chris. But before I let Chris introduce the bracket, it was made by Chris, but also with the help of a third-party app. But Chris would have done a much more elaborate job inside of Excel if we'd thought of this sooner than today. But Chris, before we get to that part, how are you? How was your week? What are you looking forward to at con? Tell me about your siblings, because it's apparently Siblings Day at some point, or was at one point in the past.
April 10th. April 10th will be National Siblings Day,
So by
which
the
is
time this video
why.
comes out, it will be approximately 2 weeks ago.
No. Well, I think we can maneuver some things, but which I
Well,
haven't
you
talked
know
to
what?
you
You're
about
right.
yet.
You're
But anyway,
you're right.
continue.
I'm being stupid. I
Yeah.
can. That's ridiculous. Yeah. Okay. My bad.
That also means we push back the remembrance rewrite again. Again, sorry, Kayla.
Poor
Uh,
Caitlin. All she wanted was to hear our admittedly solid ideas,
I'm excited for it,
and
actually.
we're just gonna keep teasing her. Caitlin, wait till you hear this great idea that we have
Like
next
we
week.
we recorded it last week, and I left like, man, I really like that
We
idea.
recorded
Yeah,
it on April 1st, 2022, which means it's going to come
it's
out
true. 2 weeks.
on April, let me think,
15th,
16th? Yeah. Because we
15th,
recorded on a Friday. So, yeah,
Friday.
16th.
Yeah.
But that was, yep. Sorry, Caitlin. Either way, we just dragging our one fan along.
We have more than that. Hey,
Okay.
got at least a
Dragging the
solid,
one person
solid.
that's very engaged in remembrances
Yes, and
as
I
an
appreciate it. She
episode.
gave us a lot of ideas today, which sparked a bigger idea for me in general. Which anyway, more to
About
get to in the
about
in the future.
remembrances? Because I'm not rewriting
No,
my rewrite.
not about remembrances. Just
Oh,
about the
okay.
podcast in general.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
All right. Oh, what was you talking about? Okay, so my
How
my
was your
week
week? Yeah.
today's. I mean, today's fine. Oh, something about work frustrated me, which led more into me being in somewhat grumpy mood. Um, but better now, I suppose. But everything's fine. Today's National Siblings Day. I grew up, not today, whatever. Tomorrow is National Siblings Day. When this is dropped, I grew up with four older sisters. I'm the youngest of five. I'm the only boy, which is always well, used to be like a character trait of mine. Like that's what defined me for a long time. See, what are my sisters' names? See, there's Tamisha, and then there is
Did you just say,
Tamitra.
what are my sister's names?
Yeah. Well, because also I don't. Thing is, I don't call like two of them by their actual name. There's
Okay.
Tamisha, which we just call Misha. There's Tamitra. No one calls her Tamitra at all,
Okay.
ever. That's just Michi Lee or Michi.
Okay.
It's for some reason it's a nickname that comes from Tamitra. So,
Makes enough
don't
sense to
know.
me.
Yeah, okay. Then there's Latoya, which call her Tay, which or Tay Tay. Then there's Whitney. We do call her just Whitney or Whit. Most time Whit, Whitney, Whit or Whitney. Yeah. I grew up with, and we're all about 2 years apart. Tamisha is only my dad's. Anyway, we have a pretty good relationship and everything. We all get along pretty well. Um, for the longest time, it's always kind of for the longest time, my middle sister Latoya was like she was like the Raphael of us. Like she was the rebel without a cause.
That's your
And
really
for the longest
nice way of
time,
calling her grumpy and angry.
yeah. Like we would meet people outside our family who knew her and like, oh yeah, she's so nice. And we're like, what are you talking about? Like like what?
Which sister did you meet
Like
now?
what my friends were like playing outside without me for some reason. Well, because they have their own lives. And I and
For some
and I just
reason,
wasn't
they had the
yeah,
audacity to have fun
I know.
without me. Little
And then
crap.
they're like and then I met them up like a couple hours later for some and then they're like, yeah, man, your sister came down and bought us all ice cream from the ice cream man. I was like, oh, Michi did that? And they're like, No, it was a toy. I was like, Latoya bought you all ice cream?
With real
What?
money.
Yeah. But it's just so funny to think about now. But I think I got a pretty good relationship. Always wish we're closer. Part of that's probably my fault because I'm terrible keeping in touch with people.
I
And
feel
I'm
that.
not good at returning texts. But anyway, so shout out to my siblings. I grew up with one of them, Whitney. We shared the same room until I was probably like 14, which is just terrible. Looking back,
Mm,
it's like why?
yeah,
Like I was one in
that's
my own
rough.
room. Like why can't you guys force all three of them into one room and give me my own room? I'm the boy. I should have my own room. I say three because I grew up. Tamisha didn't grow up in the same household that we did. She grew up with her mother, but I was a marriage before. Not a marriage. A job before my parents got married.
Um, what happy siblings day to all Chris's siblings. I think it's very interesting that you have nicknames. I'm the second youngest of four. We don't have nicknames for each other whatsoever, and I don't know. It's just interesting.
Is this a cultural thing?
I was trying to think of a nice way to say it. Is that a cultural thing or no? Or is it a
I
cultural
mean,
thing in terms of black versus white, or is it a cultural things in terms of like city versus rural?
I want to say, oh, definitely black versus white. Like
Okay.
black people in the country got even wilder nicknames, like and stuff. Like it's like, hey, Junebug down there, then he got some crawdads. They're gonna cook them up later. I'm like, oh, okay.
I uh I think
I got
I could
Uncle.
see that it's probably uh maybe in general too, because I live in a largely Hispanic neighborhood and I majored in Spanish in college, and in language and literature. But like in my experience, even Hispanic people, it feels like they're much more likely to either have a nickname or to go by like a shortened version of their name or even just their middle name.
Yeah,
It feels much more common in
yeah.
that
Like
than it does like where I grew up. So I believe it.
like no one calls me Chris in my family. Absolutely,
What do you shorten
no
Chris
one
to?
does. Nothing. There's no nickname for. Well, my uh, a few. Oh, only a couple call me Ryan. Most people call me by my nickname, which is Buki, which has nothing to do with.
That's like
It's not a
a
shortened
family.
version.
Yeah, that's a family thing, right? Like,
That's just some. That nickname sometimes come out of nowhere. Holds no type of uh, relation to your actual name. It's just all right. Now this is your name, and you will forever be known by this name.
that's probably the best kind of nickname. It's so organic, like it just came from nothing. But
Yeah,
yeah, no,
it's really cute because my niece, her nickname is also Buki, but like I don't know how she got that nickname. What some person at her daycare gave it to her, and then so now there's two of those. There's two Bukis, and it's kind of cool.
that's kind of adorable. Does she know that yet? Like, is
Yeah.
she old enough to appreciate that?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes. So
So no nicknames. I'm second youngest of five, and we're relatively even spread, like twos and threes, until my youngest brother. But I've got oldest brother Chris, second oldest brother Randy, both great athletes. One sister Shrina, she was in the middle and the only girl, so I feel like she really got the short end of the stick.
I know.
You would think certain things, like you said, like does she get her own clothes? She get her own room? Kinda. We shared a room till I was probably 8. She's probably 11, which I think is probably about the time where you should be cutting that off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's I think legally uh different sets siblings aren't supposed to share a bedroom after. I don't know. I read that somewhere.
I could
And I
see
was
that
like,
being like a state
that's
thing. You
funny.
know, like certain states got different weird laws about family stuff.
Yeah.
And then there was me, and I'm me, and I'm weird. And then there was a 5 year gap between me and my younger brother, which that's pure accident territory. But mom stands by her decision, stands by her claims, and
My
so
mom, little, I guess, um, I hate when I can't think of words. Something I always fascinated about her. One of my sister Whitney asked her like, "Did she plan any of us?" And her reaction was, "Plan? Who plans to have a baby? No, we didn't plan for any." Like, oh, thanks, mom.
just what happens happens.
That's why you have. That's why. That's why you. That's why your youngest child you were 26, and we were all like 2 years apart.
It All I'm saying is that you can be not planning a baby, and then you can be not expecting a baby, and those are two very different things. And I don't
Yeah.
believe for a second that Jordan was expected. But I get along well enough with all my siblings. I'm definitely the weird one of the bunch, if you don't count the fact that
Mm.
Shrina's the only girl, so
Ooh,
like inherently.
which Ninja Turtle are you?
Oh, he's not my favorite turtle, and this is going to sound detrimental, but they will never listen to this podcast. I am absolutely the smartest kid in my family, and it's not close.
Mm.
They're all athletic. I'm not athletic. I am Donnie.
It's funny, Shawn. So I had to reconcile with the fact that, you know what, I am Donatello. Like
I don't. It's not that I don't like Donatello. It just wouldn't be my first choice. I'm a
he's
Mikey
he's my le
guy.
he's my least favorite. Like my
Raph
like
is no. Leo's my
I
least
love
favorite.
Raph. Raph is my favorite.
Leo's my least favorite just because he's a douche. I don't.
Okay. Yeah. But Raph is always my favorite, mostly because my favorite color was red, and that's how
Okay.
I had favorite things then when I was a kid.
I like blue,
Um,
but Leo just is off-putting.
mm. But again, so my sister Latoya is the Raphael of the group. I can't be Raphael. I'm not that person. I love him, but I'm not that person. So that's my sister Latoya. The leader, of course, is the oldest one. My sister Michi, and I'm not counting my sister Misha in there just because it's just a different little
Because
dynamic.
there's only four
Um,
turtles. Let's be honest.
that's true. No one wants to be Venus, or they've added one recently, and I forgot his
Yeah,
name. He's yellow.
I'm
Um,
anti-turtles post Michael Bay starting anything. No offense.
so I'm not definitely not, I'm the youngest. I'm not the leader of
Doesn't make
them.
any sense.
Uh, and then there's the goofball Mikey. My sister Whitney is way more of the goofball, so she's Mikey. So that leaves me, and I am my sister Michi's pretty smart, but I'm probably the smartest. I wouldn't say by a lot, but I'm probably the smartest. I'm pretty sure I had the best grades in college, and I probably ended up with the most like knowledgeable jobs and stuff with like analysis and
Like,
data
yeah,
and
like
stuff. And
intellectually demanding job. Is that a nice way to
yeah,
put that? I mean, it doesn't have to
yeah,
be nice. They're
sure.
not going to hear this.
They're not. It's okay.
I
So yeah, so I'm regretfully Donatello.
I am regretfully Donatello as well. I'd say my oldest brother is. It's not that he's a leader in a traditional sense, but he's like the businessman, and he's always got like the plan. Like I don't know how to say it, but it feels like he feels like Leonardo. Like he knows which thing you're supposed to be attacking next and how to get like that kind of
Mm.
leadership. And then by process of elimination, Jordan being Raphael because he's a grouchy bastard, me being Donatello because I think that's just the best fit, and then my second oldest brother. It's not that he's a party animal, but he's generally like a happy, fun-loving enough guy to be a Mikey. So it kind of
Okay.
fits. Shayna doesn't fit a turtle personality. I don't think she'd be upset by that. There's only four turtles. She could be Venus. I don't know what Venus is, but that sounds good. So no, we all get along pretty well. Jordan is probably my best friend, family wise, just because we spent
Yeah.
the most time together. So just inherently, nothing against the other siblings. Happy
Yeah.
Siblings Day, siblings and parents who had those siblings and all that good stuff. And we just made comparisons of our siblings to the Ninja Turtles on an Avatar show. Like we could have been like, which Avatar character are you? No.
Nah, nah.
Avatar
That would
characters.
be
Nope.
interesting.
Nobody has
Which
four
bending element would
siblings in
they? But no one
Avatar.
would care. Yeah, that's true. That's well,
What's the biggest family in
I
Avatar?
mean, so the biggest, well, technically the biggest family is Ty Lee. She has, I think, seven sisters who are
Okay. What
pretty
okay, but what's
identical
the
to
biggest
her.
one that we're familiar with the family? Is that Suyin's kids?
That uh, there's four there. There's four there. And then Tenzin has four kids also.
Oh, four and four. I'm not a good fit for any of Suyin's kids. Like I feel like I'd wind up being an opal, and that doesn't feel right
Mm,
for me. But
yeah,
you're right, turtles are better. There's like more
and
divisive
yeah,
personalities.
and we don't know what type of person Rohan is,
Yeah, we really
but
don't,
that
do
that
we?
probably fits though. The well, Tenzin's kids. There's no Raphael in Tenzin's kids yet. I guess Milo. Yeah, Milo will be the Raphael.
But Milo,
Janora, of course, is Leonardo. And the although she's also Donatello because she's also really smart.
Yeah, and I was
But
just
Ikki
thinking
isn't
Milo
like
Milo thinks of himself. If you ask Milo who he was, he would say he's Leo.
yeah, that's true.
He would tell you to your face. He might be
there's
wrong.
there's a little bit of things in there because Milo's probably the most goofballish of them.
So then
But
he's also Michelangelo.
there's something kind of innocent about Mikey, and that's Ikki.
Is it safe to say that Avatar characters have just a little more depth to them? Is we're having trouble classifying these characters that don't fit into a single
because
trope
they're more multifaceted
because they're
than
real
the Ninja
characters.
Turtles.
This is not a
Ninja
diss
Turtles are
on the
pretty
Turtles.
cookie
The
cutter.
original
It's
Turtles animated show is one of my favorite TV shows.
the
I've read several of the Turtles comics. I got them hanging over there. But in terms of character depth, it's a little different.
yes. All right, but today, what we're here to do
Today
is to do a
specifically,
fighting tournament of the siblings in the Avatar universe, which there's a lot more probably than you think. There's some I left out, but I'm gonna go ahead and rank them for you. I chose 15 of them. And I'll go from last to first, just to keep it suspenseful, or you can just read the thing right there if you want to cheat, I guess.
yeah,
Anyway,
I
number
didn't put it. I
15.
suppose I could have hidden it, but now that it's been up
No,
here for
no, it's
20
fine.
minutes,
No, it's fine. 15. And so any ones that have like most people in their families, I split them up and I put the two strongest together, the two who I think would fight best together. And then some are leftovers, and I put those together just because. Okay,
just to
so
fill some gaps. That's fair.
yeah. So number 15 is Opal and Juan. Juan was the artistic one. Oh, you know what though? I didn't. It's okay. He can miss out. Oh, she has 5 kids. Suyin has 5 kids. I forgot about Batar
I forgot about
Jr.
Batar too because he's a jerk.
I didn't include him in this. I
So
guess he could be with the. Nah, never mind. That's too weird. That's
you
no.
just put him up
Because
against what's his
I was
name up top
saying,
if you want. That's fine.
yeah, I was saying that he could. Sure, why not? He could partner up with Kuvira because Kuvira is like an adopted child of Suyin, pretty much.
Yeah,
But that's weird because they were a couple before, and a sibling gets kind of Brady Bunchy. But we'll do it anyway.
yeah. Why not? Let's throw him up there and see what
Okay.
happens.
Although she
They're the
probably wouldn't have been ranked
16
number
seed. It'll
6.
never happen.
Yeah. I mean, I would have put her at probably higher than that just because it's
Just based on
Kuvira.
Kuvira, yeah.
Yeah.
But you
No,
know what?
Batar
Hey,
Jr. adds
the
nothing.
lack of chemistry is part of their weakness.
Yeah. And maybe he would have a mech suit.
Nope,
No.
no
Okay,
mech
anyway.
suit. He's
Okay,
stuck.
we'll just say he's 16th seed. Um, they're 16th seed. Okay, 15, Opal and Juan. 14, gosh, why can't I? Okay, 14, Boomy and Milo. So Boomy kind of third wheel, Milo also a third wheel. I put them together because I think they're interesting. 13, Denora and Ikki. Those two would definitely pick each other over Milo.
That's fair. That is
Uh,
accurate.
12, Wei and Win. So Su Yin's two twin sons. 11, Ru and Yaling. You don't know these two. They're from the comics Imbalance. One is a Ru is a non-bender who can chi block, and Yaling is an earthbender who honestly went toe to toe with Toph. So 11
No
C there.
kidding. What
Yeah.
age of Toph? Like
They're no about 12-year-old Toph, 13-year-old. Well, actually probably
so
15-year-old
pretty
Toph.
much like fully bending developed Toph.
Yeah, fully metal bending, had her metal
Nice.
bending academy and everything.
Nice.
That's that point. Yeah, she's probably about 15 or 14 at that point. Number Tenzin. I mean number number 10.
Dad
Tenzin
jokes.
and number 10. Tenzin and Kaya. Number 9. Katara and Sokka. Some people might think that's low ranking them, but I think it's accurate. Number 8, Eska and Desna. Number 7, Lin and Suyin Beifong. I just love that pairing. Love those two characters. Number 6, Mako and Bolin. Number 5, Tanrock and Unalaq. Tanrock being Korra's father, Unalaq being her uncle. Number 4, Zuko and Azula. Number 3, Iroh and Ozai. Number 2, Amon and Tarlok. And number 1, Hundun and question mark. Hundun was, if you don't know or familiar, he is from the Legend of Korra video game, and his brother is a conjoined twin, so it almost doesn't count. But I'm like, hey, no, they're siblings. That's it very much counts, and so I counted them.
So I'd kind of forgotten that factoid, so I was very curious. But the one ranking that caught me off guard. I gotta be honest.
Yeah, I mean, he went. It's I don't. It's interesting. He's probably one of the biggest threats to core. Probably the most biggest kind of unknown threats. And I should really probably do more history and stuff on him. I looked over his Wikipedia
Yeah, I,
just to jog my memory on things.
and
But
I only remember him even from the. I played the I guess the PS4 technically in PC game a little bit, but I actually played farther into the 3DS game. I would imagine those share a
mhm.
very similar story of what you get, but he seemed like a jerk.
Yep. All right. Oh, also, Shawn. So we're gonna decide together, but we'll try to do it like we done before in the past. If we don't agree, that we'll each get, let's say, four type break. No, five. Five?
Five
This might not be
like
enough.
vetoes, where it's
Yes,
like
five vetoes.
I'm nope, mine is right this time. I don't even think when I'm looking at
Yes.
this, I don't think we'll need that many even, but hey,
I
they're
don't I
there.
don't
Let's
think so
yeah.
either.
All right, five vetoes each, and you can veto the other person's veto, but then you both spend a veto.
Yes. Just like
Deal.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
So we get to the end and we disagree, and we both got all five of our vetoes left.
Is there a rock, paper, scissors function on this app?
No, I'd probably just see to you, be
Ooh,
like, you know
you know
what,
what we
Chris
could do
studied
though?
this.
Wait, I think we could probably wait, rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Shoot. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can
Yeah,
make it work.
okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Came in here the other day. So excited for
The
that show.
guy.
July 27th, everybody. So excited.
Okay, so round one, we have of course, oh yeah, Shawn, I meant to say, congratulations, Shawn's alma mater, KU, won the national championship. Think
Yeah.
speaking of brackets,
They
um,
and I think I like wishfully thinking noted that in what is that, the remembrances rewrite that'll get pushed back to next week. I
yeah,
think
you
I
did.
wishful thinking. Yeah, it was a great game and the largest comeback in history, which I always so bad. Don't get down that far, man. Come on. No, it was a great game. Gonna go to the parade on Sunday, and
Oh,
it's
nice.
exciting. And I love sports. We love basketball. We talk basketball. I would say that I love basketball way more than I love KU in particular. Same with football.
Oh,
But it's
oh.
still like you want your team to do well. Like you can't keep yourself from being excited when your team does well. So yeah, super excited. Way to go, Bill. You earned it. Maybe by cheating, but that's not my place to judge. Round one, Hundun, Hundun. I'm gonna say
I
Hundun.
think I'm pronouncing Hamdan. Okay. Okay, so a little bit of backstory on Hundun's abilities and just his backstory in general. Hundun had a battle with an avatar about 1,000 years ago, and the avatar beat him and like pretty much banished him to the spirit world in a certain sense. And then when Korra opened up the spirit portals, he was able to like come back. His powers include, dang it, why doesn't it have a powers include thing? Okay, wait, I'll go over his powers. Abilities. While an elderly man, Hundun revealed himself to be a man of great power and many skills, a powerful earth-bending master. So his earth-bending is his main bending. His powers were such that he could lift an enormous construct high above the ground and maintain his focus of it during battle. Hundun also possessed considerable hand-to-hand combat skills. In his preparation to gain revenge on the Avatar, Hundun learned much about Chi, on how to block it, near indefinitely, and how to absorb it. Likewise, he was able to erect powerful barriers, some of which could only be broken through with certain bending powers. The skill Hundun prided himself on the most was his ability to perform a dark power called the Chaotic Attack. With it, he could teleport himself, produce shadow clones of himself, powerful dark energy blasts, lightning, in dark energy pools to either trap targets or summon dark spirits whom he could control. While fully immersed in the chaotic attack, Hundun would produce a dark aura and grow much taller and muscular, dwarfing most humans, which greatly augmented his physical prowess and enabled him to stretch his limbs a considerable distance. So dude's kind of OP.
That's what I was just thinking. It's like, all right, he's an earthbender, but also
But
he's
yeah,
magic.
that is true. Yes.
He's a witch.
Um. All right. So versus
I mean, we just slap
Hundun
him
and
in there,
his
but why
conjoined
not? Why
twin.
not?
Yeah, Hundun and his conjoined twin versus Kuvira. Let's see. How would this battle go? Just to how could Korra? I'm sorry. How could Kuvira possibly win? I mean,
It just feels like
metal.
if he can maintain if he can essentially earthbend while he's and maintain that kind of focus of earthbending while also doing those other atrocities that he seems capable of committing, it feels like he could negate Kuvira's greatest strengths and then have a little something extra in the tank to throw a dark energy hole in her face.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kuvira is probably she's probably uh agile enough to block a lot of these attacks. I haven't played the game in a while, but I remember being able to like probably dodge fairly well. Um, but it would be a matter of her like having to like cut him down with the metal. And I just don't see her winning that bad. I think there's just too many. It's just too big of a hill to overcome.
Especially with basically no help.
Yeah, right. She, yeah. Batar's getting killed in like the first. Well, let's say if Batar actually has his mech suit with him,
But why does he get a mech
then
suit?
that's because it's cheating. Because I'm just trying to think of a way that,
Okay,
that
well,
he
I
could
mean,
possibly
if you're gonna be
win
honest,
this.
that's fine. I can live with that.
But yeah, I still don't see it.
I don't think a mech
Also,
suit's gonna, especially if it's made of anything metal.
yeah. I mean, he can't metal bend. That's good. Hundun can't metal bend, but yeah, yeah. I'm gonna take Hundun in this.
It feels like not being able to metal bend is like that one weakness that would doom him in a fight versus Kuvira, but I don't know. It feels,
True. That's the like I could see a 10% chance of Kuvira winning.
but I would like to think that if his earth bending can keep her metal bending at bay, then his other abilities would be too hard to
Yeah,
overcome.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
All right, so
no argument there. I think.
Hundun, Hundun makes it to the next round. That's why he's a one seed. I'm still including because so kind of so obscure for some people, but anyway. All right. Interesting fight coming up. This is really interesting. Eska and Dessa, the eighth seed versus number nine, Katara and Sokka. So Eska and Desna, I love the way they fight together. They're so in sync with each other. Like they are just pure reflections of each other. Guitar Saga, they had good moments of fighting together, especially in the Day of Black Sun when they fought along with their father. That was really good. But I don't know, there's two different fighting styles. But Katara is I think she's a much better waterbender than Eska and Desna. Um, but they're still really good waterbenders. So I don't know. What do you think, Shawn?
My, I feel like the world would want Katara and Sokka to win, but like, could you imagine a better like possible chemistry than what Eska and Desna would theoretically have? And then I can't imagine, especially with some of the stuff we saw them pulling, like even in book two. I
Yeah,
can't imagine that Sokka would be a whole
like
lot of help. I don't know how else to say it
that's
nicely.
that's the thing. Sokka has right. He had a fully fledged, good Sokka, and also to kind of level set here. I'm taking these people at the peak that we see them in the show, except for Unalaq because that's too OP. Like he was a dark avatar.
Yeah, no, we got to get like
Like
regular Unalaq.
yeah, it's regular peak Unalaq. Because that's kind of cheating. Like you're bringing in, I don't know. It's just That's
that's
just the rule I made.
kind of yeah, kind of at their regular. I picture like I picture Sokka. I think he gets a sword. I'm okay with
Yes, he
that.
has a sword,
It gets his boomerang,
boomerang.
his club. Okay.
Uh,
I don't
yeah,
think he gets a lot of time to scheme or
no,
plan. I
there's
think we're throwing him
yeah,
in an arena, and I just don't see that whatever kind of physical barriers Eska and Desna could throw up together with much better chemistry than most sibling pairs.
yeah.
I don't see it.
And I think it's the only way Katara. This is a terrible matchup for Katara because she she does better surrounded by a lot of water. But if you surround Eska and Des around water, like they're running like their water bending when they were like chasing after Korra, um, that you just help them out by changing the scenario. Like Sokka, if they're just running, if this fight like takes place anywhere where there's a lot of water, in the North Pole or in the South Pole, Sokka is just out of his element, which is weird to say because
It feels dumb,
he's
yeah.
in the water tribe.
Saki, you have no element.
Yeah.
I I think that obviously Katara versus either one, sure, but I just don't think Katara can
Yes.
overpower both, and I don't
Yeah.
think Sokka is enough to offset the difference.
Yeah. So yeah, that sad to say, but yeah, Katara and Sokka's gonna be beat. Asuka and Desna, I think, goes on.
No upsets yet.
Yeah. I think it's a good 8-9 matchup.
That's exactly
All
what you
right.
want in 8-9. Absolutely.
Yeah. Number 5 versus 12, Rock and Unalak versus Wei and Win.
Tell me a little more about Wei and
Uh,
Win first, if you don't mind.
I mean, there's not much to say. They're both very proficient metal benders. They invented their own metal bending game. Um, they're
Do you get
good
much more
earthbenders.
context of them outside of the show, or do they have heavier appearances in the comics or anything like that? Or are we kind of limited to the
No,
minimal show
no,
screen
not
time?
really.
Okay.
Operation Bayfong, I think we probably saw them do some of their best bending work. Like see how well they work together. I just watched the episode because we were gonna had plans to review that until about 2 hours ago, and I changed it up.
Changed it
Um,
up just to piss Katelyn off. Just
yeah.
kidding, Katelyn.
Um, and yeah. And the thing is, like, to me, Rock and Unalaq, Rock to me is a really, really good bender. And Unalaq is too. Also, Unalaq can control dark spirits. Like
We've
that's
got to
not even
give him
part
some. We
of.
can't let him be a dark avatar, but we have to be able to account for like his essentially spirit bending abilities or whatever.
Yes, yes, I think so.
That's got to play a role.
Yeah,
This
yeah, I think so.
it's tough because we don't know just a whole lot about Way and Win, and they're probably very creative, right? We see they made their own game, lifestyle, living with Suyin and stuff. Like they probably as innovative as young metal benders come, but it would be
Yeah,
it
I would have really.
feels like they're fighting the forces of evil, right? It feels like two innocent
Yeah,
children fighting evil.
I mean, Rock is a really good. Korra's dad's a really good waterbender. Like he was holding his. I mean, he was like the. I feel like he was like the physical lead warrior of the Northern Water Tribe when he was a prince there. He led expeditions and things like that. And when he's fighting Zahir, like he's out to kill Zahir in certain
Yeah, that's
moments.
really cool. Really cool
Yeah.
scene.
It'll be really interesting. All right, there is a thing though here because like chemistry wise, what the Wei and Win have way more chemistry than Tanarok and Unalaq.
Okay, but let's keep
But
in
I
mind
think
you don't have to like each other to have good
yes, yeah,
chemistry, and I'm sure we could dig up some tremendous like basketball duos examples.
that's true.
So I'm gonna say that Tonrak and Unalux, just from you know growing up together, like there's still gonna be some amount of chemistry just by way of being.
They still know each other.
And they're both. It would probably show through more in the water bending side, of course, than anything. But I,
Yeah.
I yeah,
I think the determining factor for me here is that Unalaq will have dark spirits on his side, and Wei and Win can't do really anything about that.
yeah. I don't know how you use metal
So
bending to combat spirits
yeah,
necessarily. Well, that could be a tough matchup for anybody down the road.
yeah.
Interesting.
So Wei and Win will not win this one.
Heyo, dad joke number 2 today.
Yeah. All
This one
right,
feels
yeah.
mean. This feels mean to me.
Oh, it does feel me. Okay, so we've got number four, Zuko
Does
Nazula
that feel mean?
versus 13. Okay. Number four, Zuko and Azula versus Janora and Ikki. I don't like for some
If
reason,
I had
like
a
yeah,
meme of, I don't even know where it originated, but I always hear people say "f them kids" or whatever. That's
yeah,
Chris
it's
putting
a
together
Jordan.
this bracket.
Yeah. Uh, okay, so Azula knows lightning bending, and she is like a supreme strategist. Zuko knows lightning redirection. Which actually be really interesting in a fight with them. Like if they actually worked really together, Zuko could like Azula could bend lightning at Zuko,
They could circle
but
lightning like
then
around a
but then he
playfield or
could
something. That would be
yeah, but then
sick.
he could redirect it at another person. And like, I don't know if they have that in them to work that well together. I think there were times like in the beach episode when they played beach volleyball, kickball together, whatever. Like they show that they can easily kind of get in formation with each other. Um,
I don't think it would take that long for Azula to try just shooting lightning at Zuko and hoping the idea worked.
or like it's it's a win-win situation.
Either
If
he
he
dies or
if
we win. One that don't matter. So I'm gonna take
yeah,
my chances on that. Zuko would probably just figure it out, you know?
yeah. There'll be some really good dialogue there of like, oh Zuzu, you're
How'd
able to redirect that.
how'd you know that was
And
gonna
then him
work,
being
sis? And oh,
yeah, how did you
I
know that's what
didn't.
I did?
What do you
Either
mean
way,
it
I knew
didn't
I could
work at
take
all?
I
You're
knew I
still
could
here.
take these without you, I knew I could take these peons anyway. These these homeless people anyway. Although they have homes. I mean they're nomads, but they got homes.
Obviously, I would
Um
love to see what Janora and Ikki came up with, but
yeah, I mean Janora's always pretty adaptable. Like, maybe she gets that from her grandmother, right? Like, she's able to come up with some plans pretty quickly. She's been like the catalyst to saving the day plenty of times. But
yeah, it's kind of the
I don't
Aang Korra
like
argument for me.
I'm like even if you like I think about the fight that Korra versus Kuvira where she like bend a bunch of air to distract them. Like as Azula said, like fans only make fire grow more. Like it's a bad matchup. Like that fire bending versus just the air. Like I don't see it working
Basically,
out.
at least one 14 over 3 upset happens every year, but I just don't see this one. No, sorry, 13 over 4, but I don't see this one.
Yeah.
I would say that I liken it to an Aang versus Korra fight in which Janora would be better off in some kind of competition where it's like, can you survive X number of minutes? And it feels like
Yeah.
she'd be crafty enough to find them both away. But
Yeah. And I've
if
never
you're
seen
head to head,
anything that strategic wise or fighting ability wise from Ikki to say she would be that beneficial against Zuko or Azula.
yeah, it doesn't feel like it. I'm not calling any upset there. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, kids.
Okay. So yeah, so we both agree that number four is Zuko and Azula will move on. All right, so number three, Iroh and Ozai versus Boomy and Milo. Um, gosh, I don't see these two. Actually, these Iroh and Ozai, like there's no chemistry between them, but they're both very strong strategists,
They are the
and
two
they'll
that
figure it.
four siblings doesn't like. We don't get to have any semblance of like what their chemistry would look like, and it feels like they would maybe actively oppose
Mhm.
each other's styles. Of a pair of siblings that maybe wouldn't have sort of inherent chemistry, this feels like it, but they knew each other for however long they've been alive. That's got to
Yeah,
count for something.
yeah, and so Boomy is there's no type of I want to describe Bumi's abilities outside of airbending because he has this what's it called uh jinx, positive jinx, I guess, where like the unlikely can happen that can help him out,
He is
but
Domino
the
in the second Deadpool
Domino.
movie.
Yes, that's yeah. She has some. She has a name of a power that I can't think of.
She's lucky.
I think she's a power. Yeah,
I mean, that's what she
she's
says in
lucky.
the movie.
Yeah. But there's no situation here where luck is gonna beat Ozai or Iroh. Like Ozai is just gonna be like, all right, I've had it enough, and then he's just gonna singe the hair off of Bumi's chin and head.
Honestly, I feel like they would take out Boomy first.
Yeah.
It feels like they would target Boomy first, and they might underestimate Milo, but he's still a small child. So
I think Milo definitely gets a fart off in Ozai's face.
yeah, some kind of unexpected little victory that he gets to celebrate like to himself later on.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and also these aren't like to the death. I don't.
Oh well, this got way less interesting then.
Yeah. Well, I guess certain ones maybe. I don't know. We'll see. No, Aro would not let anyone. Anyway, these are all hypothetical
Yeah,
battles.
I don't
But
I
yeah,
don't think.
of course, Iro knows I goes on to the next round there.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
so.
Number six, Mako and Bolin, the Sixth Sea versus 11, Ru and Yaling.
This is
This is really interesting.
this is where things I love
Yeah.
Mako and Bolin just because we finally got the sibling set with right. There's no avatars in there. There's no super masters in there, but you got two distinct styles of bending, but have clearly worked together. We've got lots of material
Mm,
of them being good working
hmm
together. So I love that part. And then Rue and Yealing, I will have to let you regale me to some degree here.
Yeah, I mean, so Ru's a chi blocker, but she's not. I don't consider her like agile like Ty Lee. I consider her like just a pretty good chi blocker. Now, Yaling went toe to toe with Toph. It's funny because there's recently on Twitter, I don't know who these people are, but they're just like they showed a picture of Toph and a picture of Bolin. It was like, who's winning? And a lot of people were just like, oh, Toph is just going to destroy Bolin. Like, I'm like, hold up, people. Like, I think of course, there's bias because people like to just be like, oh, Toph is the BA. I'm like, she lost plenty of time. She wasn't like this Hulk-like character or Superman-like character who just never lost.
Oh, I would
Like,
still pick Toph in that fight. I don't know if it
I would too.
landslide pun intended. Bolin doesn't seem like he has the strategic chops to overcome Toph's
Yeah, I
sensory advantages.
yeah, I would pick Toph as well, but I'm not like, oh yeah, she's going to just bend him over and just spank him. Like, no, Bolin knows lava bending. Like that is a huge deal. And sure, Toph knows metal bending. That's also a big deal. But I feel like lava is a lot harder to manage than metal. Um, but anyway, so in this case, so Yealing did kind of go toe to toe with Toph and just earth bending. Um, but I think Bolin will be able to go at her 'cause she has no sub bending. Bolin is a really good earth bender. Also, he is like a really great pro bender, really great fighter. And the lava thing, I think, takes it over the top for me. And then you have Mako who can just lightning bend and and kind of, and they're both pretty agile, and they both have experience with chi blockers also. And
That's
so
true,
I
but it's
I
not going to be their first chi blocking experience.
yeah, so I think Mako and Bolin takes this, but this is probably the toughest match so far.
I will agree
Like
it's
I
tough
think
as a
this
match so
is
far, but ultimately I'm also just going to defer to you. I just don't feel comfortable, making a
yeah
call on Ruin Yealing, but I do know that Mako and Bolin have, even among all of these other sibling pairs, just have the unique element, pun intended, of they both are different bending styles and they both have the extremities, one of the extremities of each of those bending styles, and I think that
yeah
makes them extremely dynamic. So
yeah.
I'll defer to you
All right,
regardless.
so yeah, so number six, Mako and Bolin. So far, no upsets. So next up, oh my gosh, this is really interesting. Number seven, Lin and Su Yin Beifong versus number 10, Tenzin and Kaya. That's a really interesting matchup. Like these are like the second generation kids versus each other. Man, that's Hmm.
there's a part of me that says that Lin and Suyin are just better fighters, but again, I go back to that, like, what's the type advantage here of having two different kinds of benders? But like, it just feels like Lin and
Hmm.
Suyin would be a. I see why you ranked them that way. It feels like they would just be better fighters, but I don't know how much advantage we give
I feel like I've
Suyin.
seen. I feel like I've seen more. Oh yeah, so Su Yin, her biggest fight, I would say claim to fame, came in Operation Bayfong, where she went toe to toe with Kuvira. Like she showed some great skills in
Don't
that
no
fight.
spoilers, Chris. That's next week.
I know. Um, and then Lynn, her best fighting, it's probably against Equalist in season one. Yeah, and they also them two versus Pali was pretty good.
Which one? Which one
Um,
killed Police? Suyin?
so you
Is
didn't
it
kill Pali.
okay?
But Tenzin, I feel, has just this I'm never going to break attitude. Also, he's
Tenzin
very
fighting off
elusive.
in season three, fighting the bad guys
Yeah,
off
and
in
also
season
he
three is
went.
so killer.
Oh, so here's interesting. Tenzin went toe to toe with Zahir. Like he was winning that fight. Like before in that episode, like he
In
didn't
Zahir's
lose
earlier
that.
airbending days.
But yeah, well, that was. I mean, that was like right before Zahir got unlocked fly, the ability to fly. He was still a really good airbender. Granted, Kaya lost to him, but also Suyin kind of lost to Kuvira. So man, this is a really close fight. Like, that's I feel like of all four of these, Kaya is probably the weakest.
I
Um,
I could get on board with that, but that could also be an information thing. She's probably the
yeah,
least informed character, but I would agree in general. I feel like there's something about Lin and Suyin where it just makes me feel like they would be able to break through whatever kind of defenses Tenzin and Kaya would put up.
yeah. And then here's the thing: we're talking about air versus earth, and I feel like air is going. I feel like Earth's going to win out
I just
to
picture
air.
I just picture them, like throwing up ice wall defenses or air defenses, and I picture them being more defensive fighters.
Yeah,
And I just don't.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't have good grounds to stand on, pun intended. But I think I'm gonna vote Lin and see it. It just feels like they would be far more aggressive
Hmm.
attackers, and that would favor them
Yeah,
in this matchup.
I I agree. I think it's a really close fight.
I
It
will
would be
say
a
this has
really
been my
interesting
hardest
fight.
one so far.
Yeah, like I could go either way with it, honestly, because I love all these characters, honestly. And I
Yeah,
love their
that's a tough break for them to be matched up at all. Frankly,
why would I do this? Why would I should
why would you
rank
just
them
just
this?
fudge the rankings a little next time? Maybe make fewer
Yeah,
people murder children in the 413 and
that
314 matchups.
was
Because those
that.
kids are dying, Chris. There's no question. Azula's not going to let anybody
uh,
walk out of that stadium.
but I will go and agree with you that Lena Suyin makes out that.
This one's
All
kind
right.
of funny to me.
So number two,
To me, I think it's funny.
number two, Amon, or his water name, no talk, and Tarlock. Pretty sure I spelled autocorrect, changed Tarlock to the wrong thing. Amon and Tarlock, number two seed, versus Opal and Juan. Yeah,
That's a lot
they're
of blood
just
bending for one group. That's pretty sketchy.
like in Opal, Juan is a metal bender, but he's like probably the weakest metal bender. Even when he gets captured and like they save him, he's not like fighting back because that's just not his thing. He bends metal, but it's all artistic, it seems like.
We didn't give Qatar any credit for blood bending above. Who
Well,
she hit?
I don't give
Escabeza?
Katara I don't consider her a bloodbender because
Resistant
she
to do
doesn't
it. Yeah.
yeah, she doesn't want
Okay.
to bloodbend.
Okay. That's
Now
fair.
that may come up if she ever gets into a fight with Amon or Tarlock because being able to be a bloodbender means you can kind of stop yourself from being
sort of
blood bended to
blood,
a
as I
certain
say, blood
extent.
bending her own blood. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think it
Uh,
would change my answer a whole lot, but I didn't think of it before. But I don't think it would change my answer.
yeah. But yeah,
Asuka and
Amon and
Desna probably
Tarlok
secretly
are.
know how to blood bend or something crazy. That wouldn't even surprise me.
Hmm, that'd be
They're
interesting.
secret
Yeah.
bloodbenders. They
I'd be
would if
like
there was a
that.
pair. Yeah.
We are the chiefs of the Northern Wire tribe. We allow it.
Yes, I'm okay with that. Uh,
Yeah.
I just I don't see much hope for Opal and Huan here. I'm gonna say that wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. They're getting slaughtered.
Not to mention you're going up
This
against two guys who like wills. Like I know Tarlock is not like a literal bad guy necessarily, but yeah, they're actually gonna literal get slaughtered. I think.
it's just gonna be like this will be the quickest match, I think.
I think so too.
Because
It's not a good
they're
look.
just like, hey, all right, let's just shoot, and then they're knocked out.
Yep, gone.
All
Sorry,
right,
kids. Do you want
so
to work your way back up, or do you want to go back to the top?
let's go back to the top.
At the top. Okay.
All right, so and we're in the second round here. We're in the Elite Eight. Yeah, the Elite Eight. We got Hundun and his conjoined twin versus Eska and Desna. So this is like an earthbender with spirity powers versus Eska and Desna. And not to have to repeat me of what I just said, but I don't see how Eska and Desna could beat Undone. They don't have any type of maybe if their father had taught them something about dark spirits and stuff. He didn't. They weren't really into that. Um,
And for the record, we're not canonizing the idea that they're bloodbenders. We just want it to be true.
yeah.
It's a difference.
If that was the case, I would give them way more of a chance.
Well, they would have been ranked way higher if we'd considered them
That's
bloodbenders.
true. Yeah.
You wouldn't have
Yeah.
pulled that hood over our faces.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't. I can't fathom a good argument. Hyundai just seems a little OP for what's
Yeah.
still just going to amount to very good water bending.
Yes. So Hundun moves on, and his conjoined twin, which I could not find what this conjoined twin name was.
Conjoined
Maybe,
twins
maybe.
versus regular twins. That's kind of a fun matchup as well.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
there's three sets of twins in the Avatar universe at
that's pretty
least.
exciting. I wonder
Actually,
if benders are
there's
more
actually
prone
there's
to
more
being
than that
twins.
because there's the oh I didn't include them in this. There's the which because I don't know their name. There was the two twins from
The Great Divide.
uh no from the fortune teller episode because they're like who's an earthbender? One's like I am, and one's like I'm not. And it's like oh that's interesting.
I thought you were talking
Like
about the babies that Aang made up in his Great Divide story.
yeah there's those
Play on
two.
words.
Yeah,
That would have
whatever.
been number 16 right there.
Yeah. Those babies are being killed. And you want to stick to that story that there are babies?
Yeah,
They're
they
being
get
killed.
murdered now, so
I
it's
thought
kind of
about
their fault.
including May and Tom Tom. I'm like, Tom Tom's just a.
Yeah, it ain't right. I'm not here to
Yeah.
kill babies.
The only other sister that I didn't include was Zuko's half sister, Kiki.
I kind of
That would have
forgot
been
about
interesting,
her.
but yeah. But there wasn't a good person to pair it with. Anyway.
Hmm.
Okay. So next match we have Hanorok and Unalak versus Zuko and Azula. Oh man, this is interesting. Um, so it's a number four versus number five. Let's see. So Unalak does have dark spirits. That's that's interesting. But Azula has lightning, and also you're going against people who use water. That has have. Oh, this one's tough.
I'm thinking about calling my first upset here. Just
Hmm.
the sheer wisdom of Tonrock and Unalak. Just
Yeah.
a diverse set of experience, very aggressive, attacking, powerful waterbender going up against firebender. Seems like it'd have an advantage. Got the dark spirits that Zuko and Azula most likely in this context would not have seen too much. I guess peak Zuko possibly would have at some point.
Hmm.
But I don't. It feels like the dark spirits kind of puts it over the edge. Like if Tonrock's an even match for one or the other, then Unalak
Yeah.
having dark spirits puts it over.
Do I think Tanrock could be either one of these two? I think he has a better chance of beating Zuko, because Zuko doesn't know lightning bending.
Yeah, and it,
Um,
it also stands to reason that much as we love Zuko, he's not the naturally gifted bender. He is the
yeah.
practiced gifted bender.
Yeah, this is a really interesting one because these are like two sets of siblings who don't like each other.
Yeah, that's kind of funny
It'll be
too.
interesting. Yeah, it'll be interesting. But the whole unlocking dark spirits things,
It's hard to combat that because,
uh,
like, what dark
it
spirits would
is.
move
There's
up the
no,
whole.
yeah, there's a, yeah. And like also he could block lightning. Like just put up an ice wall. I think that blocks it fairly decently well.
When I look
He's not
down
as
the list,
agile.
when I look up and down the list, I see other groups that I feel like would be more capable of combating dark spirits. But Zuko and
Mhm.
Azula don't do that for me. I don't get that vibe
Yeah.
from them.
You know what? Has to be an upset at some point. I
Is
think
it
this is the
time?
one.
5/4.
Tanrok and Unalaq beats Zuko and Azula. And I'm sure someone has turned off, if this gets popular enough, people who don't
This
listen to us regular will turn it off and be like, no,
this is
this is not right.
garbage. They're killing children, and
Yeah.
now they Zuko and Azula losing. Not gonna put up with
Yeah.
that.
So Tanrok and Unalaq moves on to the next round. Then we have Iroh and Ozai, the number three seed, versus Mako and Bolin. This is really interesting, but I think just the wisdom and strategy of Iroh and Ozai, and also they would actually be able to. I think they'll be able to extinguish um, uh,
The lava bending.
Bolin's lava. Yeah, even though there's some weird crossover there, but clearly
If anybody,
their grandfather was shown to be able to extinguish lava.
would like all of Bolin and Mako's unique strengths that could just be sort of outdone by wisdom and experience, it doesn't feel like a very good matchup for
Yeah,
Mako and
neither one of
Bolin.
them two. Like if you split up those fights or in any way, Mako and Bolin isn't aren't beating Iroh or Ozai individually.
Because I forget, I don't know if we ever see it. Can Ozai bend lightning, or is there any presumption that he would likely be able to
Oh,
bend lightning?
oh, without a doubt, he can bend lightning.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so.
in fact, his lightning is like double-barreled
Oh,
lightning.
that's right. Yeah, yeah. He pulls both. He pulls out both pistols. You're right.
Yeah,
And
that would,
I feel like Iroh would take either individually, and then
yes.
it's fair enough to presume that Ozai would overpower the other one individually. So I don't see much here. I'm going Iroh and Ozai.
Yep. All right, so then we have the seventh seed Lin and Suyin versus Amon and Tarlok.
This is
This just comes down to me. It just comes down to we mean we've seen this. You
the
know,
blood bending is going to
Tarlok.
be hard to
Yeah,
get
blood.
past.
It's hard. Yeah.
Like I kind
Uh,
of that's a well earned number two seed because I just don't. Uh, I don't. I'm trying to think. I'm trying not to peek in advance too much, but I don't know what gets past that, and I don't think it's these two. In fact,
yeah.
these two's biggest
Like
weakness would be running up against bloodbenders, like where all the crafty metal bending in the world. Like,
yeah. Like we've seen Tarlok be surrounded by just by himself around some of the best benders. He's surrounded by Tenzin, uh, Lin right in here.
and just
So just double
incapacitate, just
Lin.
like a
Yeah.
room.
He just yeah, and he's the weaker one of the two.
And
Yeah. There's no way they're losing.
I want to look
They're
ahead and think about what it would take, but I don't want to look ahead because that'll spoil
yeah,
some of my own fun. I
yeah.
think. Okay, back
So
to the top.
definitely Amon Tarlok beats Lin and Suyin.
Yeah,
So
that
next round, we're in our final four. So what do we have? We have
uh,
Undone
undone and
versus um
it's going so slow.
Tanarok and Unalaq.
Okay, yeah.
Ooh,
Oh, this is a good
interesting.
matchup here. It's good that Hundun runs into somebody else that's got some like evil wizard shit going on.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm glad that
So
happened.
let's see. I feel like I need to let me read back Undone's abilities. So when he can get into the chaotic attack, he can teleport himself.
Which I don't get. I
Produce.
don't like
I
that.
don't. I don't either. They.
It was clearly
Is
made for video games. Like this is a character
yes,
made
yeah.
for the
If
video
this was
games.
in Avatar, I don't think he would. If this was in just the show, I don't think he would have the ability. But this is
Can
canon. Like
we
Mike and Bryan did consult, and they were very involved on this game. This isn't like one of those random games that just come out.
establish that right? This isn't like all of Nickelodeon's other games.
Yes, yeah.
Can we establish that Hundun's ability to teleport is spirit world related?
Hmm.
Is that
I
is
would
that a
say
conjecture I
that's
can
actually
make?
a very good point,
Because
Shawn.
if that is the case,
Because
we could have a fun fight here.
the last fight, I believe, in the video game took place in the spirit world because it took place at the Tree of Time. And so that probably did amplify his powers, I'm sure.
I think if his ability to teleport and manipulate like the dark energy holes and things like that is that to me is like that's perfect for Unalak to combat, right? That Unalak's probably the first qualified person in 1,000 years to combat
Hmm.
that. And then something else that I kind of like is that Hundun's conjoined twin. What's that guy contributing?
Well, he has a full body. Like if you see the pictures of him,
I
uh,
recall I recall that much from the
mm,
game at least, or
yeah.
from the cutscenes. But I'm sure there's some extra power there. Like maybe Hundun is bending, sort of bending for two, so to speak. But like I said,
Well,
if
they're
there's ever a
yeah.
person in a millennium to combat that, maybe Unalak's our best shot here.
So the other abilities include lightning, dark energy pools to either trap targets or summon dark spirits. Although I feel like we can negate. I feel like Unalaq and Hundun. I don't think they both have really good dark spirit abilities against each other. So that those two probably negate each other. Um. So
That's what I
then you have,
that's
but
what I
then you
like
still
to
have the
picture in my
whole.
head.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
it's not that Unalak is overpowering Hundun's dark spirit abilities, but he's like holding it at bay as long as he
Hmm.
can. And so that's like,
You
all
know
right, well,
what
can
though?
can Tonrak like slice him up into pieces on the side? Can he combat both?
The thing is that Korra defeated Hundun. Uh, let's see, because by spirit bending. Right. So it says though Hundun was able to stand up anyway, he no longer had the strength to fight, which is a mental weakness. Uh, wait, let me read how he lost to Korra, because that might be interesting.
Might be our only point of legitimate
Yeah.
evidence.
Okay, so let me just read the story, I guess. After a lengthy battle, the two, Korra and Hundun, finally achieved land. No, I'm sorry. That's the two being the conjoined twins. Um, um, okay. Gathered all their charge again. How was she? Okay, let me read. Okay, anyway, the two brothers attacked Korra while telling her that they had awaited a millennium for a battle the Avatar would not survive. The Dark Master started by using powerful physical attacks, strengthened by dark arts and lightning strikes. Recognizing they would need more, however, the brothers began to summon dark energy pools and dark spirits to hinder Korra while continuing their barrage of brutal strikes. So it seems like they had to. So it's just not like instant get into the chaotic energy type of deal. They had to like power up essentially.
It's not like some crazy telepathy.
It's not like the Avatar state. They can just be turned on
There's a bending
like
form
that.
to it, so to speak.
Yeah, it's more. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it takes that long to power up, but I think it takes probably some type of concentration.
It did maintain
Um,
that he could what did they say, like hold massive earth structures and things,
hmm
and maintain that even while I forget exactly how it said. So that kind of gives you some hope, but maybe it's just the amount, like the timing element it takes to do those crazy magic things, and that
Yeah,
hopefully that would mean that Unalaq would stand a chance of, again, maybe not overpowering
And
him, but
Rock. I mean,
just
Time Rock is
keeping
also,
it. Well,
you know,
Rock
helping
in my
out.
mind is like the offensive on the other side. Like
Yes.
if Unalaq's
Yeah.
really like spirit to spirit, and then simultaneously Hundun is trying to maybe kind of earthbend off to the side to keep Rock at bay. It's like, can he manage both?
Yeah. Okay, so the two brothers attacked Korra while telling her that they had waited a millennium for a battle with the Avatar would not survive. The Dark Masters started by using powerful physical attacks, which I feel like Unalaq and Tanark will be able to combat, strengthened by dark arts and lightning strikes. Recognizing they would need more power, however, the brothers began to summon dark energy pools and dark spirits to hinder Korra while continuing their barrage of brutal strikes. From time to time, they would also retreat to nearby floating rocks and create shadow clones to fool their target and unleashing lightning storms, dark energy beams, and earth-bending attacks at her. Defending themselves with the spirit barriers and illusions, they managed to hold the Avatar at bay and attack at the same time. After a lengthy battle, the two finally achieved to land a brutal attack, kicking Korra up into the sky before they could charge again. However, she entered the Avatar state, following her into the air. The brothers gathered all their energy for a last confrontation, causing Hundun to confidently smile at Korra. With her in the Avatar state, however, the Dark Masters were unable to stand their ground. Defiantly, Hundun and his brother continued to yell that they would kill the Avatar and plunge the world into chaos, though they were simply told that their time was up. The brothers charged at her last time, only to have Korra repeal their attack and unleash a brutal barrage of attacks on her own before throwing a gigantic boulder at them and cast them down into a floating island. Though Hundun was able to stand up again, he no longer had the strength to fight, which was a moment of weakness Korra exploited to use her spirit bending on the brothers, causing Hundun to cry in pain. Spade. So, I think I think this is the worst matchup possible. Sorta, maybe so far, definitely for Hundun, because Unalaq has a real good hold on the dark spirits.
Also, Unalaq feels equally as evil.
Yeah, that's true. Um,
No punches pulled. I
and it's almost two versus one because they're together and like they're bending and they're talking kind of one voice, but huh. But oh, also the thing is that Korra used spirit bending to defeat him,
That's what I keep
and
coming back to,
Unalaq
is if Korra did it that by
early in
herself to defeat
her,
him,
yeah,
it feels like Unalaq could do enough of it to incapacitate Unalaq, who, beat.
who was like
Yeah,
a master at it. Korra was like a beginner and able
yeah.
to. I mean, she needed the Avatar state to kind of beat him physically and kind of get over some of those other elements of it, where the earth bending and spirit bending, dark spirit bending.
I'm ready to throw my vote at the at Tonrak and Unalaq. I think.
Man, this is a tough one.
I
This
think
is a
it's the most
toughie right
entertaining one
here.
we've had so far.
Hmm. Yeah.
It feels like it
You know
does make
what?
it feel like Hunden got a tough draw by, Tonrak and Unalaq getting the upset, right, and then having to run into the one guy that makes it feel possible.
Man, this is tough. I think the Hyundai still manages to pull it off somehow.
Okay.
But I think we should not use our vetoes. I feel like this is so intense. We should go into rock, paper, scissors.
Okay. You go on shoot, right?
Yes,
Best of
shoot.
three.
Okay. Oh yes, best of three.
Best of three. Rock,
Rock, paper.
paper.
Wait, let me start.
It's
I'm gonna go. Wait. I'm gonna go rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
okay. Sounds
Okay.
good.
Rock, paper,
Paper,
scissors,
scissors,
shoot.
shoot. It's so hard to get started at the same time. Okay,
Yeah,
one
yeah.
1-0.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Okay. Two.
Ah,
Got it.
yeah.
Okay. I'm done.
Damn it. All right,
It's hard to
I'm
get the
done.
starting. Like once you're going,
I
the
know,
rhythm is
right?
fine, but getting
Yeah.
started is hard.
All right, that's an interesting matchup.
Oh
Very
yeah, that was
close. Went
easily
to overtime on that.
the the most painful one to this point to decide.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have Iroh and Ozai,
Versus
the
the
three seed,
Bloodbenders.
versus the Bloodbenders. Ah, man. As diabolical and evil and powerful Ozai is, which is almost a testament to Korra's villains being somewhat uh, more, not only more nuanced and three-dimensional, but also more powerful.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get to Bloodbenders on this.
even most Avatar fans that at least, in our experience, like Ozai tends to be the weak point in a lot of discussions in terms of being a
Hmm.
nuanced bad guy. Not that makes him a worse fighter, but we certainly, you know, don't have as strong of feelings about him as a bad guy in general.
Yeah.
Listen, Iroh is great, but
Could you imagine? That's so sad. Could you imagine old Iroh, even though he's a BA, being like Bloodbend, just like, uh, I can't, I can't do anything, Zuko. Sorry.
in bloodbending, Iroh's such a creature of convenience. It feels like bloodbending. Like he wouldn't even try to fight it, would he? He'd just be like, this ain't my thing.
Yeah, this
It's uncomfortable.
gotta
I
give it
don't
up.
care for it.
Gotta get up to the bloodbending brothers on this one.
I don't have much qualm with that at all. I don't think.
Yeah.
I
Sorry,
can't
sorry,
think of I
Iroh.
can't think of how you overcome good bloodbending. But hey, Chris, if there was a time to think of how you overcome good
Mm,
bloodbending, it would be right now. It would be right now.
yes. Yeah. So it's number one versus number two. Undone versus Amon and Unalaq. And
I'm trying to
so
zoom out my picture here and I can't do it.
the thing is, I guess, wait, I need to backtrack here for a minute. Is Undone? I mean, he's a human. He's not a spirit
If he's not a
necessarily.
human, Chris, would we still allow
I mean,
him?
he. That is true. Would I have still allowed him? Oh, Steve Bloom voiced him. I didn't know that. I'm gonna say he has a body. He has a physical body, and that's
I
good
think
enough.
he's if he doesn't yeah, I think he's got blood, if that's what you're working
Yeah.
towards. I would argue that he's got blood.
Yes. I think so too. Um.
That feels so evil. He's got blood, so I know he can bleed.
Yeah. Um. Yes. So you have a really, really powerful person who can, who is kind of rival, I guess, the power. Well, he can't rival the power of the Avatar State. Avatar State clearly won that fight against Korra, for Korra. So he's not that level. And the only person who's ever been able to resist bloodbending without some type of power up was Katara one time, because she's a really great waterbender, and Korra, because she is also a great waterbender, and she was able to resist Amon's bloodbending without the Avatar State. That being said, the thing those two have in common is that they're waterbenders. Undone is an earthbender, which doesn't really help out. Like even before Undone has a chance to like attack them and stuff, this is like one of those championship games that you think it's close, I think,
Is it
and it
is it
turns
fair to
out
say
that
it
the
might just be who kind of gets their action off first? It's almost the opposite of who scores last, and it like whoever's got the ball last. The
yeah.
end of the NBA game or the NFL game. It's
So
kind of the
so
opposite
for
of
some
that.
reason, I'm thinking of this really dark, going real dark here.
Yeah,
Before
why
I
not?
said, all right, there's no killing in this, and then I kind of try to give myself a disclaimer. This is where the disclaimer comes in. 'Cause I think Amon and Unalaq are going to like blood band together and then separate the joint twins.
Oh, I mean, I
That would
would
be real
I
dark.
would watch absolutely.
Yeah, that's
I
um
I really gosh, whichever one gets to pull off like his signature bit first, especially like what's their bloodbending range, right? So what if Hundun
that's a good question.
just like lifts
So
the whole like just propels himself and just a mass chunk of land just right out of the stadium, lifts it up into the sky. I
mhm.
like I really think it's gonna be hard to decide without knowing who gets their shot off first. Who's got the quicker trigger?
So I think, well, if we're talking about their big moves, all right, this is what it comes down. Who can get off their big move first? I think Hundun has to charge up that power.
But not his earthbending. I'm
And
actually bringing his earthbending back into play
oh, his
here.
earthbending.
Because
Uh,
if that
I don't think
that
it's
that in my mind is like a good competition for bloodbending is like literally displace them.
I don't think Amon ever has that. I don't think Amon has ever had that issue against any bender. Like it wouldn't matter if it was Toph, right? His dad went up against Toph and Aang and whoever. Like going up against normal bending has never been an issue for them, especially Amon, because Amon he he moves even before the fight starts. He's already like mentally maneuvering them. That's why
He's
a lot of
cheating. He's
fighters
doing it
can't.
before the fight starts because you can't tell.
Yeah, exactly.
What a
That's why
jerk.
like fighters can't get a hold of him. He's already bending them to where he can dodge stuff. And so I think he'll be able to dodge any type of physical bending
Okay.
thing that comes his way.
So then, if you're putting up blood bending versus spirits, I think he gets blood bent way before he Hunden gets blood bent way before he can do
Yeah,
any of his
I
spirit
think
interactions.
yeah, I think so too. And I think he wouldn't be able to teleport.
Yeah, I would also think that this is a case
Like
where being
you teleported across the room, but you forgot something. Your blood.
your
He
blood
looks over. There's just
that's
a
messed.
outline of
It's just hanging
him
there
in a blood shape.
in like a human shape, like running through a wall in a cartoon.
Yeah, yeah. And
This
then he's just like, ugh.
So
It's
even
over.
if you said that Hundun and Conjoined Twin had, kind of like twice as much bending power, but also two separate minds, so maybe they're still separately strategic, right? Like all those normally being bonuses. Unfortunately, in this case, there's still just one target for two
Yeah.
bloodbenders, right? That's like the worst case scenario is that they two bloodbenders still just got one thing to aim at. And I'm actually going to let that kind of sort of be my deciding factor. Is like they don't even have to pick who's who. They both know right away. What are we going to do? We're going to bloodbend this one old cripple.
Yeah. What's that gonna
So
call?
actually, I'm going to say, yeah, that's my deciding factor. Is one target, two great bloodbenders.
Yeah, these are two really amazing bloodbenders. They have like if you look at their record, look at the people they bloodbend, it's
It's not good.
it's astonishing. Yeah, it's like there's there's Lin Beifong, there's Tenzin, there's
Couple of
um
avatars.
yeah, I mean their dad, which I think Amon was a better bloodbender definitely than his dad was. He bloodbended an avatar into a freaking coma. Like he needed the avatar state to beat him. Um yeah, a couple different avatars. Also, Amon, for some reason I'm just not thinking about this because I don't think he'll ever get to this point that he'll be able to take away Hundun's bending. Although he would be able to probably take away his spirit bending. No, hmm. I'm not sure he'll be able to take that away just
I don't know
because
about spirit bending, but
he
I do feel
wouldn't
like every
earth
other
bending.
type of thing.
Yeah, uh, yeah, earth or lightning.
Although if you're like in
Yeah,
immense pain, how much spirit bending could you do?
yeah. So and also, I don't think it gets like Amon was taking like people's bendings to prove a point. And it wasn't like, all right, in order to defeat you, I need to take away your bending first. So just like, no, I defeated you first. Now I'm going to take away your bending. Um,
I keep picturing the fight starting, and Amon and Tarlok just the idea of getting to sort of focus all of their energies on a singular object,
yeah,
and that
yeah. I
singular
mean,
object is I don't know. Yeah, he doesn't. I don't see a good defense against the bloodbending powers.
yeah, I agree with that. And also, again, I'm assuming, yeah, like I said before, assuming he has blood. But yeah, blood bending is like the most OP thing in the Avatar universe, except for the Avatar state.
Which makes sense. That is the Avatar state. Chris, if
Yeah,
Tonrock and Unalak had won, would your answer have changed? I think my answer would not have changed. I think
it would not have changed. And I was really close to going with Rock and Unalaq, like very, very
we
close.
had to have one
Uh,
dissension in there somewhere.
yeah. Um, no, it would have been a much easier match. Like, I'm thinking, who on this list could have, I mean, probably Undone is probably the
Well,
only closest person
we're missing
that
the
would be
Avatar
able.
state. That feels like the biggest.
Oh, you know what though? Katara. No, because I don't. I've had this argument with people before. Katara can't be Amon or Tarlok.
Not a bloodbending, not
Um,
unpracticed. She might protect herself, but she's still got a liability over there. Yeah, so who on this list
yeah,
tops bloodbending?
I think Hundun would come the
Here's
closest.
a weird thing I'm gonna throw out, and I don't know if I like the idea. I'm just tossing it. It feels like if anybody would know how to sort of defend against, not beat it, but defend against it, like maybe Tenzin and Kaya, like the awareness of it,
Mm,
the airbending. So I don't know what kind of distance we're talking on bloodbending, but it feels like there'd be something just from their awareness and knowledge of Dad's trials and tribulations against Yakone,
yeah. Oh, you
and
know what though?
Katara's
Tarlok.
experience.
No, never mind. I still don't believe it.
Even the Tenzin Kaya thing, I don't like the idea of beating
I
him as
mean,
much as
if
just maybe being more prepared, but not. I don't know what
yeah,
they would do.
Unalaq wasn't a bloodbender, surprisingly. Um, if he was, he still probably wouldn't have reached the level of Tarlok. And Amon was able to easily defeat Tarlok, who was a really, really great bloodbender. And so, yeah, I'm not really seeing anyone
What if Eska and Desna were secret bloodbenders? Would that defeat them?
then I'm still
Which
taking
siblings? I would I don't know why that amuses me so much. The idea of them being bloodbenders. I think just because they have
yeah.
that vibe to them.
Now, if we wanted to, if I really want to stretch it, I probably could have had Kyoshi in Lek in it
Okay,
because
but
but I feel like they just became. Well, I feel like right when they became close, that relationship ended, unfortunately.
well, and I don't even. I still wouldn't. Not without the Avatar.
Yeah, like they well,
If she could go to
but
the
they
Avatar
had.
state and get all giant
Oh
and
yeah.
stuff, that would be really cool. But I suppose you'd have to draw the rules on that.
Well, if she has the Avatar state at her disposal, I'm picking her over any
Yeah,
of it.
so it would all come down to yeah, Avatar state or not. Is that included or allowed?
Yeah,
That would answer
and
the
I would
question.
I would include the Avatar state because that's like a base.
Yeah. So
That's
then, okay.
always within.
Yeah, I'm taking 100-foot tall Avatar Kyoshi,
Yeah, I don't
Avatar
think she'll be
sibling.
100 foot tall,
What
but
I don't.
yeah.
She grew real tall, didn't
But
she? How
also,
big did she get when she was doing the?
no, she never got big. I don't
She
think
get or what'd she do? Like
she floated up in the air, 100 feet in the air
raised
with
him with?
airbending
Yeah. Okay.
and rate. Yeah,
Yeah. No, I like the idea of giant Kyoshi better. That makes me happy.
yeah. But also I'm somewhat stretching the idea of them two being siblings because they're raised by the same people, but they weren't. It definitely wasn't the same time, and they just got along together like briefly at the end there. I mean, they were
Yeah.
really close, but that would be kind of stretching the sibling, I think. Yeah, although I stretched it here a little bit,
Agreed.
but
Agreed. Nope, I don't see I don't see opposition here to the two most powerful bloodbenders in the history of the world.
yeah. Good fight though.
Yeah, I'd watch absolutely. Um, video game characters versus OB bloodbenders. What could possibly go wrong? Chris, thanks for drawing up this idea on this fine. Well, I was gonna say I keep thinking it's con, but if we move this weekend up, it won't be con. It won't be the con show. It'll just be a regular show on Siblings Day, which is April 10th. You said
Yes, April 10th. So call
okay.
your siblings
Yeah, I'll
and
move this. Yeah, call your
tell
siblings.
them. Don't tell them you love them because you always tell them that, but just tell them,
I don't really
hey,
do that to my siblings. I want them to know that I love them. I just don't want to say it. So maybe just say hi. How you doing?
yeah,
Express it in the
yeah.
form of action. That sounds so weird to tell my siblings I love them. Can I do that? No, I'll just interact with them and let them know that I care. That's the right way.
Oh yeah.
That's what I got. Yeah, Chris, thanks for drawing this up, and thank you all. And Katelyn, we're really sorry, but we will get our remembrances rewrite up next week. And next week also we'll be prepping for 2 weeks out from whenever this episode posts. I'm so confused on what's going where. Sometime we'll go to con. Really looking forward to that. And the week after con, we will be sure to make our video like a recap or snippets of our trivia panel at
Yeah.
con. All right, Chris, thanks a lot, buddy. Thanks a lot, everyone else. Have a great afternoon, evening, morning, whatever time of day it is. Do that thing. We'll see you later. It's almost tradition now that I don't need you to see what route you go. Is he gonna do the music? Are we gonna ask each other a question? Nobody knows.